October 1988. In Winter Haven, Florida, 41-year-old Peggy Carr is rushed to the hospital by her family after she collapsed in pain. Peggy Carr was a hard-working mother of three from Fort Meade, Florida.
My mom always smiled. She was a people person. She was always happy, and she always took good care of us kids.
It turned out to be some Coke bottles that were left in the kitchen.
When he was asked why somebody would want to hurt the Carr family, he told detectives that he thought somebody probably just wanted them to move away.
Investigators believe 40-year-old computer programmer George Trepal is actually the mastermind of a deadly plot to murder his noisy neighbors.
Hey guys, it's Lavender here. Welcome back to my channel. It's Lavender here, and I've decided since it is getting closer to Halloween, I'm going to be doing more true crime videos more than usual. So yeah, just because it's spooky season and Halloween's a holiday and there's a bunch of true crime stories to talk about. So yeah, so today I'm just going to be doing a case that I saw on Forensic Files. It was under the Forensic Files episode Bitter Poison. This Forensic Files episode really intrigued me. So yeah, this case was on Forensic Files, so I'm going to give you a rundown of what happened. So here we go, let's get started into this true crime video case. So here we go, let's get started. So there were these people, they moved into a house next door, and there was this guy. He didn't like the fact that her kids were loud, and he did something about it, and he was poisoning the family next door. So this is what happened, okay? So Carolyn and Peggy Carr married in 1988, and Peggy Carr moved into the home of her husband, which is located next to Trepal's home. Travis Carr, Preclian's son, and Diane Dibberly, Peggy's son, also resided at the residence. In 1988, Perlin Carr renovated their garage into an apartment where his daughters, Delina Shivard and Tammy Reed, and his granddaughter, Kelsey Bell, resided. Trepal and Carras were involved in a number of altercations, including an incident in which Trepal threatened to kill one of the Carrs. He didn't like the loud music, he didn't like how her kids and his kids were all acting up, and he threatened to do something about it. The Carrs also received an unsigned letter threatening harm to the family if they did not leave Florida. On October of 1988, Peggy Carr began to suffer from a mysterious illness. No one in the family knew what this illness was. She went to the hospital. She was admitted to the hospital and remained there for several days before being discharged. After discharge, Peggy's condition worsened, and the family didn't know why, and they readmitted her to the hospital. Travis Carr and Diane Dibberly also exhibited similar symptoms as Peggy and were transported to the hospital as well. Dr. Hostler suspected thallium poisoning based on the symptoms displayed by Peggy and the others involved. Within one day, thallium poisoning was confirmed. However, Peggy's condition worsened and she ingested too much thallium, and she later fell into a coma and she died on life support, and life support was disconnected on March of 1988. Travis Carr and Diane Dibberly remained in the hospital for treatment of thallium poisoning, and an investigation was underway. On November of 1989, officials collected samples from the Carr household, like things in their fridge and stuff, to test like what they've eaten or drinking to see what the culprit would be in an attempt to find the origin of the thallium. Tested in residue in several empty Coca-Cola bottles, thallium was detected, and the bottles seemed to be tampered with and put back on, and they traced the lot numbers of the Coca-Cola bottles, allowed police to trace them where the bottles were produced. On June of 1988, the Carrs received a letter threatening that they would all die if they did not leave Florida immediately. The letter was unsigned. The prosecution linked Trepal to the threatening letter that the Carrs had received because of the comments he made earlier. Trepal claimed to accompany his wife to the office every day as his alibi. However, the police determined that he either stayed at home or went to his own office each day. Thus, Trepal had the opportunity to poison the family and the Carrs residence because they did not lock their doors, and he could have went in there and just placed the Coca-Cola balls down and tampered the Coca-Cola balls in and put them in the residence, because he knew that Peggy was a fan of Coca-Cola. Trepal had worked as a chemist also in a laboratory in order to further investigate investigate Trepal, Specialist Agent Susan Gomick went undercover on an undercover mission. She attended a Mensa murder weekend that Trepal's wife organized under the name of Sherry Gwynn. Gluck arranged to rent Trepal's home after he and his wife moved. After paying rent in money orders, Gomick had a search team went into the home. In the garage, the investigators found a bottle on the garage floor containing a powdered bottle of thallium. After the discovery of thallium, Trepal was charged with 7 counts of poisoning. A search of Trepal's home in April of 1989 turned up a bunch of chemistry books and equipment, including information about poisons and what they do and stuff. And he was sentenced to death on March 6, 1991. If I'm correct, he's actually still alive, if I'm correct. So yeah, that's just this case. It was a case of poisoning and a crazy guy who hated loud noises. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye guys, see you next video.